So, boys and girls, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, it really changed the game for the federal government because before they had all the social media companies in their pocket, right? We know that Facebook was informing on people, Instagram is a subsidiary of Facebook, and of course, we know Google's completely and totally in bed with the government. So, all your YouTube information and all of your Google information is automatically fed to the government. And as we did find out from the Twitter files, that yes, there was a lot of meetings between the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and many other sections of the federal government that Twitter was actively conspiring with to have people removed and deplatformed based on government and politic wills at the time. And it was absolutely insane. It was absolutely incredible. And now that they've lost Twitter because Elon Musk has taken over and rebranded it as X, shout out to X. And it, boys and girls, it is one of them situations where now, since they've lost one of the big giants where we actually have a bit of free speech again, now they're going after all of your favorite gaming platforms and they want to track extremist gamers. And no, it's not just Discord and Reddit. It's also some of the major gaming companies out there as well. And boys and girls, it is not looking good. And you know Discord and Reddit are going to fall right in line with whatever Big Daddy government wants because we know they're lefty woke nut job institutions. Get off of Discord, get off of Reddit. Go try out Gilded. It's actually a free speech platform. And this isn't some sponsored video. I use Gilded. Go check out my Gilded. There's probably a link down in the description below. Go check it out. It's a free speech alternative to Discord. It works just like it. It's just as good, if not better. Get out of these platforms because I guarantee you all of these are going to fall down, bow to Big Daddy government, completely and totally take the schlong and the load all the way down their throat and give up every one of your bit of information and all of your private records because, you don't agree with their politics. So let's check this out. This is from our dear sweet friends over at Bleeding Fool. FBI and DHS coordinates with Discord, Reddit, and others to track extremist gamers. A recent government report reveals that video game companies and social media sites have been collaborating with federal agencies such as the FBI and Department of Homeland Security to address what the feds deem to be domestic violent extremist content. The report highlights the establishment of mechanisms between social media companies and law enforcement to combat extremism, recommending similar processes be instituted with the expansive gaming industry. Oh yes, they're coming after all of it. And color us shocked. Like I said, this is not anything new. This is something that we got confirmed in the Twitter files. We know that social media and Big Daddy government had been teaming up to spy on you and get your freedom of speech squashed. Literally, the federal government was violating your freedom of speech rights, except, they were using a third party. They should all be prosecuted and ran out of town for what they have done. Details of this collaboration, previously undisclosed, are outlined in a Government Accountability Office GAO report, which includes insights from interviews with 5 gaming and social media entities, including Roadblocks, Discord, Reddit, and 2 others who asked to remain anonymous. Aww. But that's okay. Roblox, Discord, and Reddit, they had no problem coming out and saying, yeah, of course we're working with the government. Of course we are. Discord, Reddit. Oh, yes, Big Daddy government, hurt me harder. I like it. Govern me harder is all they want. The Intercept's Keen Clipston dug into the GA report, shout out to Ken because holy cow, these things are huge, I've seen them before, to find out what prompted the collaboration to crack down on social media extremist gamers. You know, all of you people out there that don't agree with the politics of the modern era, you know, those people that actually like beautiful women in their games and for the games to actually function properly on launch, especially when you pay $70 or $80 for a game, and to not have politics interjected into your game so that way your games have to talk down to you. Pronouns, anyone? Shout out to Az. So the Federal Bureau of the FBI and the DHS have mechanisms to share and receive domestic violent extremist threat information with social medias and gaming companies, says the GAO report. The report reveals the DHS Intelligence Office meets with gaming companies, and the companies can use these meetings to share information with the INA, DHS's Intelligence Office, their version of essentially the CIA, about online activities promoting domestic violent extremism. Like I said, just like we know they were doing with Twitter, or even simply activities that violate the company's terms of service. Oh, so you ever violated a company's terms of service in one of their lobbies? Remember the old lobbies? You ever got mad at somebody in Call of Duty and said you were going to F their mom? Right? Ever said, hey, I'm going to mutilate you? Yeah. Violate terms of service? You ever get suspended? Well, guess what? You're now on a government watch list. Although, personally, I'm of the opinion if you weren't on a government watch list during the Obama years, you were doing something wrong with your life. So shout out to you if you end up on one of these lists. Let's see, where were we at? Yes. Through its 56 field offices, the DHS has 56 field offices. That's more than one per state. and hundreds of resident agencies, subordinate field offices. There's one in a big town locally close to you. The FBI receives tips from gaming companies of potential law-breaking and extremist views. Based on whose definition? Oh, that's right, if you don't go along with the narrative. For further investigation, the FBI also conducts briefings to gaming companies on purported threats. Oh, yeah, you mean like that soccer mom that showed up at her kid's school board meeting because they didn't want inappropriate things showed to their children? Yeah, things like that, yeah. The GAO warns that the FBI and DHS lack an overarching strategy to bring its work with gaming companies in line with broader agencies' missions. Without a strategy or goals, the agencies may not be fully aware of how effective their communications are with companies or how effective their information sharing mechanisms serve the agency's overall missions. The report ends with recommendations that both agencies develop such a strategy, recommendations the DHS concurred with, providing an estimated completion date of June 28th this year. So yes, they're going to get all the kinks worked out. They're going to make the system flow even better so they can put you on a government watch list even faster just for violating the terms of service of a private gaming company. Commissioned by the House and Homeland Security Company, the GAO investigation spanning September 22nd to January 24th was prompted by concerns over domestic violent extremist use of gaming platforms and social media. Ah, yes. These people said, although no federal law explicitly criminalizing domestic violence extremism as a crime category, the U.S. government categories threats into 5 areas, including racial, ethnically motivated violent extremism, and anti-government and anti-authority violent extremism, animal rights or environmental violent extremism, abortion-related violent extremism, and all other domestic terror threats. So basically, everything that doesn't agree with the modern ideology is now considered a threat and must be reported to Big Daddy government. So if you've ever voiced your political opinion in a gaming chat, guess what? You're now going to be on a list. I mean, this is absolutely insane. You have no safe haven anymore. There is nothing that is private at this point in any way, shape, or form. They are coming at you on every single aspect. All I can think of is the awful track record of the FBI when it comes to identifying extremism. Hassan Piker. Oh, color us shocked there. A full-blown acolyte priest of the cult himself told The Intercept and added that the feds are much better at finding vulnerable teenagers with mental disabilities to take advantage of. Oh yes, government me harder, Big Daddy government, because you're already doing such a shitty job of it. That makes total sense. Pressure from Congress also compelled leading gaming companies to address extremist content. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Dick Durbin, Democrat, color us shocked there, but trust me, the majority of the Republicans aren't any better, urged companies like Valve, Activision Blizzard, Epic Games, Riot Games, and others to take proactive missions in policing gamers. Yes, you all need to be policed. Big Daddy government says so. So all of these private companies have to bow down and do what Big Daddy government says, don't they? Unlikely more traditional social media companies, which in recent years have developed public-facing policies addressing extremism, created trust and public safety teams, and released transparency reports. Yeah, you mean like all the transparency reports from Facebook that showed they're still letting adults get at children? This is exactly what I'm saying. They lost control of Twitter. So now they're going after everybody else. Because if they can't have the big 3 or 4, if they lose one of those, well, they'll have everyone else if they have to. Get on Gilded. Online gaming platforms generally have not utilized these tools. Yeah, online gaming companies. Why haven't you used those tools? It'd be a shame if somebody fined you. It'd be a shame if somebody called you up for an investigation at the subcommittee on the House of Nonsense and BS over there in Congress. You had to waste all these millions of dollars going through lawyers and flights and having to take off time off work. It'd be a sure shame if somebody had to do that to investigate you for not properly policing extremist views on your platforms. The government is nothing more than a protection racket, just like what the mobs run. It's literally the exact same thing with the current government we have. This is a veiled threat at these companies. Everybody knows what this means. Following the Capitol breach on January 6th, the federal government's focus on countering extremism has grossly intensified. President Biden's direct initiative, a comprehensive review of federal domestic terrorism, identifies a primary threat. Of course, the subsequent national strategy, released in June 21st, recognized online gaming platforms as potential hubs for recruiting and mobilizing individuals towards domestic terrorism. Yes, it comes down right from the top. And here we go, color us shocked there. The wonderful ADL, because you know they're such a reliable source of information. The Anti-Defamation League has testified to Congress multiple times about extremist use of gaming platforms. In 2019, ADL's then senior vice president of international affairs, Sharon Nazin, was asked by Representative Ted Deutsch, Democrat, Florida, if gaming platforms are monitored and if there's a way that AI can be employed to identify those sorts of conversations. Nazarian replied that gaming platforms need to be better regulated. Yeah. This starting national strategy underscores the intelligence community's belief that independently radicalized extremists pose a significant challenge and are often mobilized without direction from extremist organizations. In light of the 22 lawsuit that prohibited the Biden administration and federal agencies from communicating with social media companies to fight what they consider misinformation, there are obviously constitutional and legal questions about Americans' free speech rights when it comes to federal agencies and gaming companies working together to mitigate what they determine to be spread the violent extremism. Might be time to go back to tabletop board games and cards. You know what? This is insane. This is it. This is the latest example of them doing this kind of nonsense. They are getting these companies that will gladly sign off because Big Daddy government does exactly what they say exactly what they do, exactly what Big Daddy government wants. They are sent for Big Daddy governments. They are sent for the agenda. They are sent for the cult. They are sent for all the rest of this nonsense. And this exactly right here proves it. They are coming after these gaming companies so they can monitor absolutely everything you do. And if you so much as violate a terms of service for saying something inappropriate to your fellow gamer, which used to be the standard back in the day, you're going to end up on an FBI and a Department of Homeland Security's list. How's that going to work out for you, boys and girls? Anybody down for some Warhammer 40K tabletop?